Hey, welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm Wood, and in this series, we're comparing two accounts that I started at the same time on the same day, about 2 weeks ago, played the same way by a lovable knucklehead. That's me. Anyway. With one major difference. One account is free to play, the other has a monthly spending budget. It's day 14. Let's check our progress. Hey, thanks again for joining me. Just going into the free-to-play account here again, like we do every day, we've got a greenish-bluish colored box around the free-to-play. The budget account just has nothing on it, so that you'll be able to tell when I switch back and forth. Made quite a bit of progress in the last 24 hours. We had a 500 energy daily login reward, and let's go in and claim stuff here. And so that helped a lot. We made advanced quite a bit in quite a few different areas. We got to level 40 on both the free to play and on the budget account, and that opened up Doom Tower. I tried stage 1. We're still not quite ready for Doom Tower yet, but did better than I thought. Gonna have to put somebody in the sparring pit to get that one done. We are collecting day 14 rewards, so we get a 2-star soul for Adeline. So that'll be nice. Don't know what I'll put on her yet, blessing wise. So we've got these coming up, and I played these through on my main account, and pretty much if you're active in the game, you'll pretty much collect all these things. And so that's that'll be a 5-star soul for Adeline, and it starts us off with a legendary that has a 5-star soul. And again, she's not the best legendary in the game, obviously, but I have found her to be a lot more useful than I thought she would be, even for an early game account. New player login. Let's keep our fingers crossed here and see. We get Jizoh on day 7 here of this. So I wonder if those rewards go away now. Oh, they do. Oh man, does that mean that we don't get any lifesteal gear or shaman or anything? It's not that I'm excited about shaman. I was excited about the lifesteal gear. Okay, we got our Jizoh. I don't think it's a good idea to feed Jizoh. I think he is, and I believe I'm pronouncing it correctly. If I'm not, it doesn't matter. His A1 attacks one enemy 2 times, so he has a double hit on his damage is based on defense. He has pretty good base stats. His A2, when it's ascended, places a shield buff for 3 turns and a counterattack buff for 2 turns on one ally. So where it says one ally, I always used to think that he couldn't put it on himself, but he can put it on himself. Grants an extra turn. Value the shield is proportional to this champion's defense. So the defense that you have built up on him correlates to the strength of the shield. And I've never really studied this to see if it's a really good shield or not. It would be nice might be a good experiment to do. And then on his A3, he attacks one enemy, has an 80% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 2 turns. So it's only a single target provoke, but it's a 2-turn provoke, and it is on a 4-turn cooldown. So it's kind of like having the same thing as a 1-turn provoke on a 3-turn cooldown. But it's still it can be valuable, and if you need to provoke someone for 2 turns and control them that way that they can only use their A1, that's a pretty valuable skill also. And puts continuous heal buff on this champion for 2 turns. So I think that's a good skill. And early Hydra, you might be limited as to the number of provokers that you have on your teams, and so I think he's worth holding on to. I don't know that I'm not going to start adding him to a team right away or start building him right away, but I think he'll be valuable to keep on both accounts. We'll go over to the budget account, the budget account here and collect things. And I don't like that when I click on when I mean to click on something else and a little menu comes up, then it takes me to the link, whatever's under that little menu that opens when you accomplish one of the quests. So yeah, we'll go in here and we'll collect our 2-star for Adeline, and then collect our Jizoh on the budget. Daily login rewards is a XP banner. Some people save the XP banners in their inventory. I find that if you're active playing the game, see, we've built up 3 weeks and 3 days, and I open all of them. I just open all of them right away for the XP boosts. And I find that when you're active, those don't run out. Here on Jizoh, or on the free-to-play account, let's see if it's the same. Yeah, 3 weeks, 2 days. So, yeah, spending had nothing to do with that. It's actually let's throw Jizoh in the Guardian Ring on both accounts, since we're not going to be really doing anything with him early. Let's put him in there. Sometimes you have a quest where it asks you to level up someone in the Guardian Ring. And there is a good strategy. I just haven't done it yet because I want to build up some more gems first. But there's a good strategy to open up all the slots in the Guardian Ring. And you can just be running them in the background most of the time. And if you have them all the same level when you put them in, you're only going in, every once in a while, and then you level up all of them at the same time. And you can make quite a bit of progress that way. And it takes about a week to get a 4-star up to level 40, and so you're basically building an extra 6-star every week by doing that. So because you're making 5 stars basically, and so all you have to do is make the other food to feed into them to turn them into 5 stars, and then if you've got a level 50 champion that you want to turn into a 6-star, it's a good strategy. I learned it from MTG Jedi, and I've been doing it ever since I learned it from him. Probably it's been at least a year ago. And it's nice to have that just always going, and then you're not, because it doesn't cost you any energy, it doesn't cost you anything other than the gems initially to open it up. So it's a good strategy. See what so level 40 also opened up our forge, or the passes. So it used to just be forge pass. Now we've got champion passes too, although we've only had one so far, and that was Xena Warrior Princess, who I didn't get on my main account. They had a couple of summoning events for her, but chance was pretty remote, so I didn't ever go for it. And you had to pay, I think it was like $40 or something to just open up that champion pass and get her. Not something I did. So I always look at these beforehand. This is running out in 8 hours, and so we opened it up at the end of the forge pass, and so I was just hoping to maybe collect a couple of these rewards today before that timer runs out. And then within a week or so we'll probably have another forge pass, and so then we'll be able to at least collect all the free-to-play rewards on both accounts for that. And that's they can be good. These things can be helpful. You're not losing anything. You just do some quests, and they're usually pretty easy quests to do every day, and then you collect all these things, and at the end you get forge materials for this and for this set it was for bolster gear, which is a really good gear set. I don't know what the next one will be. I don't know if they've got a regular order yet, but they've got some really good sets that show up on this forge pass. So if you pay for them, then you get these rewards down here. That may be something I'll do in the future with Forge Pass, but I still have a couple more weeks left before I have a budget amount to use on this account. But on free to play, they're pretty valuable rewards, and anything is better than nothing. So wanted to talk a little bit about Faction Wars too. I've been doing as much Faction Wars as I can. Let's see what's open today. We got Dark Elves and Dwarves, and that's it. I am light on Dark Elves and Dwarves on both of these accounts. Yeah, see, I've only got 2 commons in Dark Elves. And in Dwarves, I don't think I have anything. Yeah, I've got one uncommon. And they're all food champions. A lot of times what I'll do, and this is what most people do, I think, you throw some gear on some of your food champions that you're building, and you just throw as much gear as you possibly can, and then just do the stages that they can do, that they can complete. It's difficult because with the uncommons, I'm not going to have them around long enough. Commons and uncommons, I'm just not going to have them around long enough to make. Yeah, see, I've got one. That's a 3-star chicken in the Dark Elves on the free-to-play account, and then in Dwarves, I've got nothing right now. So I'll, before the day's over, I'll pull somebody. But what I've been doing is, if I have any food champions, usually I'll put a little bit of throwaway gear on them and see if they can at least do stage 1. If they can complete stage 1, then you can just keep running it over and over again, collect some materials, and you collect some glyphs, some 1-star glyphs. So it's a good idea to do it. It's going to take me some time to do that today, so I'm not going to worry about it right now while I'm talking to you, but I probably will. I'll collect a few champions from both of those factions and just some uncommons as I pull mystery shards or something, and then I'll throw a little bit of throwaway gear on them. So then when I do feed them and it asks, do you want to save the gear, I can just say no, and then it won't cost me any silver to take their gear off. And that's just something that you do every day when you're doing a new account, if you value the glyphs and the forge materials, which I do highly. Let's go summon 3 champions just in mystery shards, because we need food. We keep building. Progress is going well. I got Stagnite 5-starred on the free-to-play, but I am starting to see a major difference on and I keep saying this, but I am seeing a major difference now. It's the gap continues to widen between the free to play and the budget, with that with the raid card being active on the budget account. Oh, I got somebody new. Which lizardman do? Oh, obviously it's Jizoh or Jizoh. I don't know. It's probably Jizoh. It probably doesn't matter. So talk about champions a little bit. I got Athel on the free-to-play, pretty well geared. She's got 100% crit rate, which is this early is kind of what you want to get. I still don't have any necklaces. I don't think for anybody. I've got a banner for undead here. There's one in Knight's Revenant. I call them necklaces. They're amulets. Another banner for Bannerlords in the Slayer set. That's really nice. When I get Adeline 6-starred and Ascended, might be able to put that on her. But it's an attack. It's not really going to help her with her skill kit, but at least it's a banner. So we've got Athel level 60, and her stats are going pretty well. She still can't farm Brutal very well by herself, so I still have Taragi with her. Taragi's much better now. I had him survive until the end on a clan boss run, and so that's kind of what you want. You want him to be at least tanky enough to survive till the end on clan boss. And then Adeline continues to surprise me. Her skill kit is, I think I underrated her a little bit. I thought she would be okay, but I think I underrated her kit a little bit. I still haven't put any books into her, or we still don't have any books in Stagnite either, but Stagnite is doing his job. You start over at level 1 when you 5-star them, and so my next 5-star will be Padma, and I think I will 5-star Monk and just do some testing, shifting around in clan boss, just to see if I can increase my damage with him as a poisoner. He's a pretty good poisoner, so I think I'll try that, and I'll mess with some stuff, and then I'll start prioritizing who I want to 6-star next. And by that time, I mean, it's probably only going to be a day or two from that now before I do that, and should be ready to 6-star somebody else pretty soon. I keep making more food, just using all the energy that I have, either to make food while farming Valdemar Strait level 6, as I talked about yesterday. You want to try and get as many speed set boots and lifesteal set boots as you can while you're here early, and then eventually we're just going to be farming 12-3 like you just normally do, because it's the most efficient for silver and for experience. So our clan has almost put easy down here today. That'll be the first time since I joined the clan with both of these accounts. You can see here I have one keyed easy on both accounts. Oh, it shows the raid card here, so you can tell who's spending money in the game if they've bought the raid card. So you can tell who's spending money in the game by this little icon here, by the avatars, if they've bought the raid card or not. Also, the Forge Pass will show if somebody's spending. Hopefully somebody else will hit the boss. Actually, if I'm able to do normal here with 2 keys on the budget account, I might go back and clean up on that one. We get two easy chests instead of 1. It's not much, but it's something. So we'll start our clan boss run here on the free to play. Athel's the fastest. I still don't have Stag Knight faster than Athel. Ideally, you'd want Stag Knight to be faster than her. Just limits on gear, limits on silver, limits on everything. But Taragi's been doing a much better job. I'm not sure how much skill. I did put some skill books into him during Clan versus Clan tournament. I don't have him fully booked. I didn't have enough books to fully book him. But doing his job, and then and then I've got 2 other epics that I need to book, and so I'm gonna have to collect quite a few epic books before this team really can do what I want them to do. But if Taragi can do a good enough job protecting the team, I may not need Adeline's heal for very long. Right now I still need her heal, and so that's why I haven't tried to insert Monk into the team to do more damage. Although more poison damage early might counteract that. So that's why I'm going to do some experimenting and see if I can get more damage overall by putting Monk in. We might not have the longevity, but we might have more damage that way, if that makes sense. Yeah, and Padma is just so good. Consistently keeping up that decreased attack on the Demon Lord clan boss is just so huge. Yeah, see, that heal that Adeline just had came in really clutch. Stag Knight was about to die. He may die here anyway. Oh, he took the stun, but I think if Taragi had his cooldowns booked, we might have more ally protection coverage. Yeah, see, and there he goes down. So, yeah, we're still not ready to really move ahead on clan boss very well, but making some progress, and just having Taragi is knowing that I'm confident that I have somebody I can build a team around, and his poisons are really important coming in also. I also think having Adeline's heal more consistent would be really helpful also, but I don't think it's worth booking her. I think as we get further along, let's take a look at Taragi's skills, because I forget how many books I have into him right now. Yeah, see, so on the provoke skill, which really doesn't help us on clan boss, he's booked and he's got his down to a 3-turn cooldown. But this ally protection, that's got two more cooldowns on it, and so I think we might be able to keep everybody alive just with him for a while. The lifesteal gear, as I collect more lifesteal gear, that'll help sustain us also. But that damage mitigation, taking 2 turns off of that cooldown is going to be really big for that. So, and his poisons are going on. It's just I just don't have enough protection for the team yet. And Stag Knight stats will continue to improve also. You can build him pretty tanky. I'm not going to build him, for damage mostly. It'll just be for debuffing and speed and some survivability, because that's who we're going to be using on clan boss. And having Padma also helps because she just keeps putting that decreased attack on. So in case Stag Knight maybe misses it, or there's a 3% resist or something like that, it's important for that decreased attack to be on. So it's nice to have 2 champions in your team that will apply it. Now Adeline also applies it, so it's kind of we're kind of triple covered there. But yeah, and so you can see, I'll show you here I was just running the the budget clan boss team here in the background, and you can see Taragi. I actually got kind of lucky with the regen gear that was given to us as I think that was a daily login reward. It might have been a reward for a quest. I can't remember, but got some regen gear on both accounts, and just happened to be on the budget account. It was really good. It had speed substats on most of the pieces, and it turned out to be really good regen gear. So he's surviving to the end of the fight, and that's really big. Yeah, so 2.44 million on normal is pretty good. That gives us a 2 key on normal. So yeah, so we got 4.69, and you only need 3.64. So we're good there. So I may, with my key coming up, I've got a key coming up in 9 minutes. I may go into easy here and clean this up so that we get double chest on easy. That's nice. Yeah, first day for that. That'll be good. Excited. It's the little things. Yeah, really, just other than doing faction wars, I think that's a big one, that especially early game, you think, well, I'm not building any champions for this faction, and sometimes it takes some time. You have to think about which gear you're going to put on these throwaway champions, and which gear you just don't care about. Maybe level it up to 8. Leveling things up to 8 doesn't really cost that much silver, and it's worth it to get the glyphs and the forge materials. I think it's important to do that. We continue on in silver 3 on the free to play here. I did drop down to silver 2 overnight, but then just did some more fights, and you can only lose a certain number per day that count against you. And I'll just take you into a little silver 3 fight here. Worried that I'm not going to be as fast here. Yeah, I'm not. Well, we cut in, but that wasn't good. Not a good showing. So I need to get my Stagnite faster than my Ethel, like I said, and that's, just getting better gear. And leveling up gear, it's so expensive. Silver-wise, it's just so pricey to do that. That provoke is just so big, though. When using Taragi in early game arena, which you would never use Taragi in arena most of the time in the game, but you use what you have when you're this early. Yeah, see these 2 flags? That's for these Adeline events that go on for the next 2 weeks, and getting a 5-star for her will be big. And so yeah, you just pretty much stay active in the game as long as you're doing something in the game, doing your faction wars fights, doing your arena, doing your tag team. You do all those things. You do dungeon runs, you do campaign, and you get flags for each of those things. And there is there's an ultra efficient way to do it, but I just found on my main account when I went through it, I just found that as long as I was active and doing something every day, playing pretty actively, you'll collect all those flags, and eventually you'll get that. Within the 2 weeks, you get the 5-star soul for Adeline. And on my main account, I haven't even awakened her yet, but I do have the souls sitting there in my soul collection. So this is just kind of an aside, off topic, but I was doing, yeah, you can see I've got these souls for her, the 3, 4, and 5-star here, just sitting there waiting. I haven't ascended her yet on my main account, but doing the soul chase yesterday, I got really, really lucky on a mortal soulstone and pulled this 6-star Nethril. I don't have a Nethril on my main account, but I have a 6-star for him when if I ever pull one. You can see I've got a 6-star for a Coronar. I've got, just be nice to have some of these. I got a Tatsu, which I already fed for the Lady Mikage fusion, but if I ever pull another one, I've got, it's just funny. I've got some good souls for awakening these champions that I don't have. So that's just how it goes sometimes, especially early. When you're early, you take soul, you open some mortal souls, and you might get something good, but uh, the likelihood that you have the champion of a soul that you get is really low. So we'll be opening that at level 42. I think that's when at level 42 the Altar of Souls opens, and we've already got 2 mortal soul stones on both accounts that I collected in a reward for something, and so we'll open those when we get there. I don't know if we'll be in time for the Soul Chase tournament. We've got a day and 8 hours before we get there, so we'll see if we were able to get to level 42 by then. I don't think so. It just keeps it keeps taking longer and longer as you keep advancing and going up levels. Each level takes a lot longer to do than the previous one. So we'll see how that goes. But like I said, I am seeing quite a bit of difference. I've pretty much been doing all the same challenges and all the same quests and everything on both accounts, just trying to keep things consistent. But you can see I've got some food champions made in my vault. I've got a few champions in there that I'm saving. Grinner, because he's a reviver, I'm saving. And then these, Marked is not farmable, but she is for the rosin fusion. And then Templar is, I've been pulling quite a few copies of him, so I thought I'd throw one in there to make the Relic Keeper fusion a little easier. Just I won't have to farm for him. You can see I've got 3 copies of him here that I'm just using as food. So, and then I've got 2 copies of the Terex for the fusion. I've kind of decided not to go for the epic in the fusion. It's gonna take, you have to build all 4 epics up to level 40 fully ascended, and that's a lot of resource, especially for void stuff. And it's a lot of resources to use to get one epic that I'm not sure fits in right away. I know she hits hard, but and she does have some buff steal and buff transfer and self cleanse that she does. She's got a pretty decent kit, but I'm just not sure how crucial she would be for one of my teams right now. So I'm kind of thinking I'm gonna just keep putting my resources into building the champions that I have on the teams that I currently have. The Terex, though, he can be very useful, and having 2 copies of him on both accounts is good. If I can snipe a couple more copies of him, I probably will. Just because, having a few Lizardmen, I can put him in Faction Guardians for the rares and in Lizardmen, and he can be useful for that too. So, but that provoke, he can provide quite a bit of control with that 75% chance of provoke on AoE for a rare. That's a really good skill. So I can imagine if you had 4 of those going into Doom Tower, you could stagger that ability and kind of keep all the waves pretty controlled while you do damage if you have somebody else that can do damage. So yeah, you can see I've got everybody 5-starred in my main core of my teams, all 5 of these champions, and I've just got a little ways to go for War Maiden to get to level 50. So I almost have 5 level 50s here, and I'm really close to starting to decide who to 6-star next. And I think it's just going to be Taragi. Just as Clan Boss gets more and more difficult, he's going to take more of a beating with the ally protection, and sustaining him during the fight is going to become more and more important as we go. But yeah, you can see I still don't have the cooldowns on that main Bog Blessing skill that he does with the shield and the ally protection. It's just such a big skill for Clan Boss. So that's going to be really big. Next week we'll have another clan versus clan, and hopefully I'll have enough epic books to be able to put more books into him and hopefully somebody else. Let's see how many epics. Yeah, so I've got 5 epic books, and on this account I only really have the 1 epic to book. Monk is just being booked with copies of himself and not really building any other rares. So I've got Adeline, but I don't think I'm going to book her. I think I'm going to save those books for somebody else, and Adeline maybe gets replaced in the teams if Taragi is able to sustain the team, like I said with the other account. So yeah, I'm seeing, like I said, I'm seeing the gap widen. Um, got more 5 stars on the budget account just because it's been a lot more efficient, 20% more efficient to farm campaign. I've collected some boots, some speed boots on both accounts. Just some common speed boots, 5-star. And then there's an uncommon one also, so that's good too. Oh, there's a rare. I think I got that one from Dragon. I didn't do too many boss stages in Palace of Arabia. So I've got some boots to put on people. A lot of these boots can be upgraded. Just don't have the silver to keep that going yet. I did a little bit of regearing on my Ethel, helped her stats a little bit more. So she's faster. But the reason I was able to do that was because I was able to get my War Maiden just 1 speed faster. She's at 186 and Ethel's at 185. So I was able to get her pushed 1 speed faster than Ethel, which is kind of perfect. So when we go into arena, she's able to stay out in front of her. But yeah, so I've got some lifesteal boots and I've got some speed boots. So now the next step will be going into Valdemar Strait, stage 7, and farming in there so that I can try and get some rare pieces of lifesteal to fill in and build some lifesteal sets, be able to sustain the team during a clan boss fight. That'll be the next step, and that's kind of a long process. If you're not doing Dragon can drop some lifesteal, and as we advance up into Dragon further, I think we'll focus on that. I'm not going to go into this Deacon fight. He's got 2 speed boosters here. They're probably going to be way faster than me, so I'm not going to do that one. This one looks doable. This one does have a speed lead. It's only 10% though, and kind of composition of team and everything tells me this person probably is going to be slower. But I've been surprised before. But that's how you just try and pick fights that you think you've got a good chance of winning, and sometimes you don't win all of them, and you don't want to waste any coins. But yeah, Lightsworn's really good. I really like Lightsworn. When I started both of these accounts, I was going to go for Deacon Armstrong, but I seriously considered Lightsworn as well, because I really like Lightsworn, especially for early game Fire Knight. He has a triple hit on his A1 that also reduces turn meter, and so I really like him. He's also got a decreased speed in his kit too, if I remember right. Lightsworn has a decreased attack and a decreased speed on his A2, and that's a huge, and that book's down to a 3-turn cooldown. So that's pretty much going to do it for me today. I'm just going to keep grinding food for both accounts. We're pretty close to having another 6-star on the budget account. A little further away on the free-to-play. I think it's going to be a few days. The like I said before, the extra energy really helped yesterday. I had to spend quite a bit of time to use up the energy and try to do it efficiently, so it didn't just stack up there. But don't like to get the energy capped. So I'm just going to keep doing this. Continue to make progress in Clan Boss. Continue to try and upgrade gear as I can, and re-gear things as it seems appropriate. There's an artifact enhancement event coming up in a few hours from now, from the time I'm recording. So I'll probably try and take advantage of that to make some upgrades in the champions and the teams I'm using, and so that's pretty exciting, and we'll just keep going. Yeah, so we got a 3-star lifesteal piece here. Not too good, and I maxed out these 2 food champions, so they're about ready to go to 3-star. So we just keep on that, and I hope this series is helpful for some people to kind of just see what the difference is in spending and not spending, and then you can decide for yourself, is that really worth it to me or not. I think the raid card is from what I've seen so far in just 2 weeks, if you extend that out over 6 months, I really do think that as far as value in the game goes, I'm starting to think that is a pretty good value. And like I said, next month and the month after, we'll be able to evaluate by how many 6-star champions we've been able to build on both accounts, because the campaign farming that's one of the most efficient ways to do it. It's the way I do it. I don't come into more brews than any other player for any reason. I like to be able to build my brews up, but I don't just use them all, to do champion training. I do a lot of campaign farming, even on my main account. I still do a ton of campaign farming to be able to level up champions. So I think if you are doing it, if you're playing that way, I think the raid card is a pretty good value. $50 for 6 months, it seems like a pretty big commitment, but getting it only for the 1 month, it just, to me, it just didn't make sense money wise to do it every month. Just, it seemed like you're throwing away $10. It costs $10 a month if you do it by the month, and then it costs $50 for doing it for 6 months. So to me, I didn't want to throw that $10 away, and that's why I did it. Plus, you do get quite a few gems when you start out the game. And I thought, well, because the most efficient spending in the game is the daily gem pack, and I thought I may not need it the first month on this budget account, but I may want the more experience, because I know I'll be doing a ton of campaign farming, and so that's why I made that decision. And I still after going through it for a couple of weeks now, I still think that was the right way to go. Okay, we'll go into the tavern here and we'll just level up a little more food. Yeah, see, I've got some 4-star champions here going, and quite a few 3-stars built up. I'm just about to do 2 more 3-stars. I did finish the quest today on this account that required you to have 1 champion from each faction on your roster. And so you may have champions, and then if you feed them, you have to have them all on at the same time. It's not having gotten them, but then they all have to be present on your roster at once. And so I was able to get that quest done. Not a big deal, but I'm a box checker, and so I really like checking those boxes. Also, during champion training events, I usually will feed 2 brews into a 3-star. I'm not doing that on this account because I just don't have enough brews to do that yet. Starting to build some up, but we don't have enough built up yet to be able to take advantage of those strategies yet. But hopefully soon we'll be able to start playing more efficiently and getting more of that done. Oh, I realized I just fed a Dark Elf food champion, so I'm going to have to pick something else up in the Dark Elves to be able to do my faction wars before the end of the day. But I've got about 24 hours to do that, so should be able to handle it. All right, thank you for watching. I'm Wood, and I appreciate you.